Good evening and welcome to another edition of ONV Sports Podcast. Today we're going to have another lively discussion where we're going to talk about the pros and cons of multiple sports versus specialization. I'm going to be your host tonight, filling in for Mr. Michael Ayers, Coach Michael Ayers, where we want to keep him in your prayers. He's at home under the weather.
Yep.
But I'm going to be filling in. I'm JJ Foster, a regular panelist, and I'm going to pass it over here to my compadres to my right and let them introduce themselves.
I'm Shalante Clements, also a regular on the show. And
y'all know me. I'm the resident voice here. I'm C-Stats. I'm on all the shows almost. It seems like I'm always here, but I'm ready for this discussion, JJ. It seems like it's going to be real good.
Yeah, I guess it's going to be good because I was going to say this is probably the most that we didn't talk before a show.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
We didn't have the show before the show. But let's get right into it.
Okay.
We talk about, for people to understand what we're talking about, multiple sports where us old school guys always talk about, we played baseball, we played basketball, you played football, ran track, you did all the sports. Then now we have a new phenomenon where they call it sports specialization.
Right.
Where guys are just playing, or girls playing basketball year round or football year round.
Right.
I'm going to flip it over there to you guys. Who's going to take it? Give us some pros and cons. How do you see this?
So I'm definitely saying that it's definitely a lot of pros to sticking with that same sport throughout the years because you become specialized and you can get higher chances of looking at by colleges and stuff like that. And I feel like athletes that stay with the same program, they obviously gel together if it's not an individual sport versus it being a team sport. So,
Got you.
I think you should, have multiple sports unless you have a certain skill set. Now, if you 6'11",
okay,
there's not much you are be able to do. If you're 6'11", I'm being real.
LeBron James played football, but go ahead.
He did. He was a tight end, but he only 6'8", 6'9". Yeah. Travis, what was his name? Megatron was 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
So that's still a good height. But I mean, you 6'11", 7 foot.
They can play volleyball too.
Running track.
I got you on that. But normally you're gonna think of a 7-footer. They're gonna be in the paint somewhere knocking somebody over. Could you see Shaq playing? Running track, playing volleyball. Shaq was an anomaly that he was destined to play. Or Wembyana, I think that's that young man's name.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama.
He like 7'2". You can't see him playing a whole lot of different sports. I only see specializing if you have a special skill set.
Do you know Akeem Olajuwon was a goalie in soccer?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay, to your point. Okay, you knew that, but just threw that at us.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Okay.
And Tim Duncan was a swimmer.
Correct. There you go. And I heard Tay talk about specialized because of coaching and this, that, the other. I want to tell people everything that I'm going to say is something personal to me, whether it's me as a player, whether it's me talking to a coach, an NBA player, or NFL guy. But if you look at colleges, 88% of the athletes play multiple sports.
Right.
When you talk to all the top-notch coaches, they prefer you played multiple sports.
Right.
Okay.
When I coached back in the day, we coached over at Harding. We had the pleasure of coaching Trey Essex, played basketball and football. It's funny, Big Josh Gaines was over at Northrop, but somehow, Joe Paterno called us. And you know what kind of film they went on these guys? Basketball tape.
Really?
They want no football tape. They want a basketball tape because basketball has measurables for football.
Right.
So, you think about the combine. That's all basketball is.
Right.
They want to see the big guys out there moving and getting up. Urban Meyer, Joe Paterno, what's his name, Tressel, all them guys, we had the pleasure of talking to as basketball coaches. They recruiting guys for football.
Right, because of the agility and seeing, how loose they are. Because think about it, football and basketball, I can see the translation because you use, and even track as you use that, you use a translation of most of those muscle memories, those body functions, those body mechanics, and all of those.
So you don't fatigue out those same muscles. You're working on different muscles. I think as Jay talked earlier on.
That's exactly right. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact.
Okay.
You overusing the muscles. You went to multiple sports. You training different muscles. So
giving those a break so that way you don't fatigue and tear that one out possibly.
Correct. And it's funny because, we sit back and we try to figure out when did this actually start, because I mentioned LeBron James, Allen Iverson. There's a list that goes on and on. Like I said, I got Charlie Ward in my speed. Now.
Right.
Rod Woodson, all SAC and all the sports.
Right.
So when you get guys getting in people's heads and telling them that they only need to be in one sport,
Right.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out during our little 2 hours of practice, what is he missing out on out there?
Right,
You know,
right.
and if you that focused, yeah, you go to your basketball practice or football, and then you go to the other sport.
Right, right.
You know, go ahead.
But I think it's, and I've said this before on a lot of other shows, and, you know, I think it's become the commercialism of sports and even youth sports. You know, it's how we market what we're doing. If I got LeBron James and I keep him at all my AAU or the, you know, next LeBron James, the Victor Wembanyama's or whoever, but I keep him at all my AAUs, then the marketability is my next line, I can sell them. Well, I got LeBron James, Victor Wembanyama in the NBA, so, you know, I can sell the next one. So I keep them close, you know, because it's a marketing tool. But it does.
It's also a money maker too.
Right.
So like if I can't hold y'all all year round, like I can't keep them in this league and this league, now I'm losing money as a
Bingo.
program.
That's true,
I'm
too.
not able to make what I'm able to make.
Both of y'all make great points. And I mean, the other thing is people worried about somebody else discovering this person.
Right.
I done worked all this time. There's somebody gonna walk in. Man, you got to be here. You
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's crazy because here's the other thing. You know, Bob Knight, IU basketball coach, Tom Lasorda, Dodgers baseball coach, and Bill Parcells. Them cats was all friends.
Right.
You know what they did? Each of them, Bob would go coach the baseball team, Bill would go coach the basketball team, you know. So they went, if you were a successful coach,
Right.
the message is the same.
It is.
And you want to put your kids in front of as many people that's got a good message
Right.
and that's going to teach your kid something. I mean, that's what kids are missing out. I'm with the same guy. I'm listening, blah, blah, blah. But if you got, I mean, somebody that's a good coach, you know what they're standing for, why would you not want your kid to come in contact with him?
Right, right. But I think, and I think we have become programmed that football and basketball is really our only way out. So if I got my child in basketball, AAU travel teams, I got my child in these 7-on-7s now, you know, that's the only way. That's the only sports we flourish in that we're going to be able to make it in. We don't look at other sports as being profitable or being notoriety or having the notoriety of other sports. We just want the ones that, you know, are in everybody's face that are the glamorous sports.
I wouldn't say necessarily they glamorous, but I would say like it's more attractive and more appealing because it's what's taught to us. So like as a kid, the programs and things that are around was football and basketball on the streets. We didn't have people saying, hey, would you like to join our tennis team? Like in the neighborhood, we got guys on the block saying, hey, we practice up the street at these courts. So that's literally what it is.
Well, and as JJ and I mentioned, we had baseball. I played Little League in Weiser Park. There's no diamonds in Weiser Park anymore, but we played Little League.
Has some of the best in the city at Weiser Park.
Weiser Park. We played, and not only that, we played night games. We had a whole day and things like so. We had a community thing going, but there's no diamonds. Now it's everything. You know, it's geared to football. They got so many different gyms out here: football, basketball. But where's the baseball? Where's the soccer? You know, so we're geared to like that's our way to make it, and that's the sports that we can only do.
Yeah, well, two things. I mean, when we're talking about you're absolutely right. Basketball and football. Both of them year round now. You got guys 7-on-7 in football. You got AAU tournaments in basketball. Nobody's trying to get outside in the hot sun and play baseball. Missing out.
Right.
And then to your point, too, you didn't mention track. Back in the day, we ran track. And you talk about glamour sports. Man, track was a glamour sport. I mean, Northside relays, man, you get out there, stadium packed. Man, please.
Man, I miss those days.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I try to get, you know, my kids on my team to run track. Because to me, how do you not run track? Track ain't doing nothing but get you in shape for basketball. So if you tell me you specialize in it, I say, okay, I'm cool, specialize. But get out there and track. Run a quarter. Run them sprints. It's going to help you in the long run.
Right.
Period. It should go hand in hand. Whether, you know, track is the sport for all of them. You play football, you play baseball, you should be out there at track. I was so disappointed, man. This was some years back. You know, Northside, I think, had a team, all these high risers. And it's back when Elmhurst was still around. They had a team of high risers. You know, I seen them, they jumping out the gym during the basketball season, right? So then, hey, track season rolled around. I looked, I said, oh, I'm going there. Oh, these bugs. Got out there. It was like a bunch of kids in gym class. Wasn't there one of them athletes out there? I was like, what to what?
Yeah, and you would think, like you say, track is a conditioning sport, and they don't condition anymore. They just, not only do they specialize in a sport, they specialize in the training, in the conditioning. It's not like you say, JJ. I would run track. I would play football and I would run track. I didn't do anything in between. Conditioning for football, you didn't do anything all summer. You go in that first week, that hell week, you throwing up, because you're not conditioned. But then you go, I didn't play basketball or anything or wrestle, but then I had to wait till track season. And those muscles have grown tight again.
So now that you say that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Now that you say that, it brings me to the point why they brought 707 and all these things into place, because a lot of athletes was sitting because they wasn't playing multiple sports and they was tired and fatigued. But if they got them constantly in that same sport, working.
But again, it doesn't have to be the same sport. I just wasn't that gifted or talented in anything else, so I just had to wait.
I love that perspective, but how about this?
Okay.
You was a basketball player, right?
I was.
You've been out to speeds. You've seen the wicked tournaments of basketball, haven't you?
Yeah.
What you think football said? 707.
We
That's
need
nothing
that.
but that's the AAU. That's the AAU.
Okay.
Right.
You getting guys all in big tournaments. It's the same premise, same concept.
And that's with travel volleyball, because I got a cousin that do travel volleyball. It's the same thing. But my skill set was running.
Mm-hmm.
I could run, so and I could jump. I can't dribble a ball to save my life. I got one hand, and that's my right one. This left one just for decoration of the basketball court. Yeah. So I knew where my skill set was, so I had to wait. Now, if they had I known, wrestling or something else, I could have wrestled, but I didn't wrestle. There wasn't too many wrestlers.
Back in your day.
Back in our day, that was wrestling.
John Ray, state champ.
Did you guys have wrestling in high school when you was in high school?
Oh, yeah,
we had
some state champions
we didn't
back there.
even
All the way
have
back to Central days. We had some state champions.
Yeah, I think Eric was after me. Eric is the one that got more black people wrestling. Eric Early. Okay. But when my time, it wasn't that many black wrestlers, but Eric Early.
Oliver Richmond, he was cold-blooded. He was at Elm. They're going, Starks. That was out there. But it's funny because they didn't get the notoriety. Me and John Ray actually had a talk one time. He was telling me, oh, man, how packed the wrestling meet was. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to doubt that, man. I said, but John, you don't understand Hoosier hysteria.
Right.
How packed our basketball games were. We go out somewhere, we go to one of these little towns, and somebody come and, hey, JJ, I remember watching you play,
Right.
And he was looking and kind of, dawned in him. I said, man, I ain't taking it away from your sport, but around here, basketball used to be king, which it still is, but football now then took the leeway. You check the NFL sidelines, we got plenty of Fort Wayne kids.
Right.
And that's one of the things that, when you get off of this specialization, that's what they're selling to some of these parents that's thinking, hey, my son going to be the next. And if you ain't out here doing this, that, the other, he not going to be good enough to make the league.
Right.
So, you got to weigh the options and feel what it is you really want to do. But like I said, I got a speed folks on speed now that'll tell you otherwise.
Right.
From Trey Essex to Rod, like I said, Charlie Ward won a Heisman in football, and he played in the NBA.
Right. He went straight to the NBA, didn't
he? Yeah, correct.
And I was just watching where you said that. I think he played for the Minnesota Twins. He was I think Mulder was his name. He was the number one quarterback in the country out of Minnesota the year he was supposed to come out, but he never played. He got drafted in a major league, and now he just got accepted into the Hall of Fame. But he was the number one quarterback and a great basketball player. He could have went to any sport he wanted to.
That's funny you say that because now you maybe think the Mannings, all of them, they hoop. Tom Brady, they all hoop. Any of them great quarterbacks, they all hoop.
Or play baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Think about all the different arm angles and all that they're talking about. The other thing that we haven't mentioned, when you do multiple sports, it's about the competition. That's what a lot of coaches like and look at. You might not be the best over here.
Right.
They want to see how you're going to respond.
Right.
But competition is competition. So when somebody tell me I'm going to opt out of competition versus going over here training, that's a head scratcher. It's a head scratcher. Come over here, you compete. And again, some of my phone calls, man, y'all crack up. I used to get at midnight. Trey was our center, won a state championship, offensive lineman for the Steelers, won 2 Super Bowls. I'd get some calls at midnight. Man, tell him, Jay, I can hoop. Big 300-plus pound cat telling me to hoop. They're like, man, you can't hoop. And then the other one was John Flowers. You talk about 6'10", 6'11".
Right.
John was a heck of an athlete. He would call up. He'd be in Vegas, same deal, telling them guys how fast he was. And he still had the state record in the 200. Man, they looking at this big man, you a lie. He calling for me to confirm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He was a high jumper too, right?
Yeah, I think he did a little high jump. But I know 200 was his thing. He ran on the relay. Yeah. I think he did it all.
But I mean, like you said though, I feel like it's important to play those sports. But you were saying like they running from competition or whatever the case is. But like they might think that this sport is too easy for me. Like maybe tennis came too easy for me. I'm like, it's not fun because it's no competition. I might think like that as an athlete. But I might get more scholarships in that area because I'm naturally good at it or whatever the case is.
But, and with that, not only the competition, it does not teach them different roles in sports. Okay. Now, if you're the star quarterback, you might not be the star on the basketball team. You're going to have to learn to play roles. Okay. And I think that will help, character development, building, to understand that you got to wait your turn sometimes. But if you stay that star, in all of these, football, every time you get that privilege or that seniority or that high-mindedness,
mentality,
where when you have to sit and you're not that person, you have to understand, that other people are better. You're not teaching citizenship or great sportsmanship because sometimes if you arrogant and you think that, you just think you are.
Right.
And that's exactly why, just what you just said. I'm not going to expose myself. Where I'm not the man over here. I'm gonna stay over here in my lane. Where when I get over there, I'm vulnerable. Yeah. And we got so many people, so many kids that can't handle that.
Right.
Because they're not the best. But again, that's what coaches want to see. How do you respond?
Respond to not being the best. Right.
I ran track. I just ran track just to keep me in shape for basketball. Mm-hmm. I look back. I wish I would have took it serious, but I didn't because I like going out there just compete, see what I was gonna do. I had buddies that ran summer track. And they did all that, and they improved. Hey. My only improvement was going to come off of what I did, during the track season and whatever running we did in basketball. But again, I love me. I've been out there. So all kind of dudes eat me up. Never, I wasn't worried about it. I went to state for
this
years.
Ain't my, look, this ain't my sport.
Bingo, that's it. I see you come hoop season. Yeah. Then we're going to talk.
Right. But I don't think, we're teaching that, because, even as much as you said not going outside, we don't teach the outside. We're not teaching the citizenship or things like that. So if I keep you over here, you're not learning anything,
I got a question. Do you feel like you can get that from playing different roles in the sport? So like say offense and defense, both sides of the field. I might not be that good at the cornerback, but
and I'm going to use them because I know he played both ways and he was an All-American on both sides. Okay. Travis Hunter. I don't know him personally, but Travis Hunter. Think about it. He excelled at both ends of it. I don't know if he plays basketball. I don't know if he runs track. But if you get the wrong person with Travis Hunter abilities but the wrong mentality, and that's all they're focusing on. That's all they're going to be. And, you seen people, and then they fail,
at life.
Not at life, but they're good here in Fort Wayne.
Oh, okay.
And then they fail at the next level.
Okay.
And they don't know that if I could have went, like he said, maybe I was better at track. I can transition to, this other sport that I was in and, make up and, I won't fail. But we put all our eggs in one basket and that's where we are.
Yeah. Now again, and we talked a little bit off camera, where specialization, I say, is essentials in sports like gymnastics. That's where, the age of the kids, that's where, they're going to excel the most.
Right.
And that's a short window of time. So that's where I say specialization, gymnastics, maybe diving, stuff like that, these special skill sports. The other one's my biggest thing. I'm cool with all the extra work, but like I said, I just say there's room to do both.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about training. There's room to do this sport and train, and do both.
Yeah, and the one thing is, and if we look at it financially, if we're just going to look at it financially, football they make good money, basketball they make good money, but hockey, soccer, and baseball are the highest paid sports across the world. So when you focusing on one and think you're going to make it and you're going to become rich in the other, you're passing up other opportunities that you may be able to make more money. Think about these center fielders, these outfielders, these pitchers, where you don't have to play all the time, but you're making all this money.
Right.
Soccer the same way, and hockey. So if it's
shout
financial,
out to the Beasleys when you talk about soccer. Shout out to the Beasleys.
Right. So if you're thinking financially, you're single-minded because it's a broad thing. Even bowling now is a big
golf.
Golf.
Yeah.
Tennis. Look at the Williams brothers and what's the young Coco lady, or the other one that's just won in the French Open. mean, you look at all of these, other opportunities where if it's purely financial that you want to do, that you singling yourself out, you're limited in your ability
leaving money on the table.
And that's exactly right. And it's not even just, the professional money that you leave on the table. It's scholarships. It's scholarship money out there at these sports, like we talked about. I mean, IU rowing team, they will send out letters to every basketball coach that's coaching girls or even some of the guys. Hey, if you got any girls, send them my way.
Right.
We can get them paid.
Road teams and some of these other things. Rugby.
Lacrosse is another one. It's like, hey, we looking for athletes. We'll teach them the sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Historically black colleges we talk about. Go check out their baseball teams. Go look and see what they're filled with.
Right.
As Latin Americans and some Caucasians. Like, hey, we need that money. That free money.
Right. Because we're not playing those sports. We're not getting involved in those sports anymore. And I love being outside, man. So there's community advantages too. Because as I said, when we played baseball, we had night games, we had practices, we had all of this. That kept us out of the streets, and that kept us out of trouble. That kept us involved, and that kept us as friends. We didn't have all this animosity because, like JJ said, we might be on a different football teams, but we might be on the same baseball or basketball team. So we became a community and things like that, and it kept us out of there was Y-ball, there was all of that, and you knew everybody. So from different baseball teams and football teams, but we're going to end up on one team together sooner or later.
Right. And then after the game, you're kicking it.
Right.
But what you talking about? We're in our 50s, and folks still talk about Persil, the Dairy Queen, and the Journal, man. The other two,
Right. Pizza Hut over Anthony, that ain't no more. We have the games and stuff like that. Yeah.
They miss out on all that. I mean, like you said, it breaks your heart to know there's not a baseball game in sight. They didn't combine leagues to keep leagues going.
Right.
You take this park over this park to make one league. But it has, like I said, AAU basketball, 7-on-7 football, wiping baseball out, especially with African Americans.
Yeah, that's sad. But I really think, for your health benefits, and think about it, if you're diverse in sports, I'm a little bit over 40. I ain't gonna tell you how much over 40 I am.
Baby boomers.
I ain't that old. But think about it. You still have some agility. You still have some limberness that you can do. Golf. You can do tennis. You can do simple things because your muscles, you have muscle memory and you can do those things. If you don't, you just specialize in one. Your knees get bad. Your hips get bad. But you can still do
a lot
things
more wear
to
and
keep
tear.
it. Because you become sedentary if you're not doing those sports. But if you're out there, playing around the golf, you're still active, you're still out there, you're playing around the tennis, racquetball or something, your body is still able to do that. But, once you specialize, when those body parts tend to stop being used, like bodybuilders. You see bodybuilders, when they stop bodybuilding, they get
fluffy.
Yeah. and they don't have that strength anymore.
Yeah. And I'll say this, too. It's a two-way street. It could be coaches, and it could be some of these facilities. And I know, when you talk about specialization, a lot of people want to bring up these training facilities and say, oh, they trying to hold these guys. But I actually had a talk with one of these agencies because I'm like, hey, when I coach at these small schools, Harding and Lures, we need all our athletes. I don't need you saying they can't come out. But they were basing it off of, there were some coaches that, told their kids, if you miss, summer volleyball, summer basketball, you can't play.
Yeah.
And so
you do get that ultimatum.
Yeah.
I had a coach tell me you got to pick between volleyball and basketball. Yeah. So I picked basketball.
Yeah. Which is nuts to me. And then that's what I had to explain to my man. I said, I'm not one of them. I said, I get it. I just need him out there. I know if somebody's bread is buttered over here in football, and I got him really, on loan, he got something, he got a big 7-on-7 tournament, there's going to be some colleges in there, he needs that exposure. Hey, see you. We'll see you when you get back.
Right.
He got a big all-star game, going to North-South game out in Texas. Hey, I get it. Cool. Bye. We're going to see you. Right. It is what it is, but you get people all in. I don't understand that. And again, I'm never, ever going to, do that to a child. You let them expose and shine their light through, let them show what they're capable of.
That's good as a coach, man. That's
right.
good.
And as you say, specializing, and maybe I lose something. I lose a step. Like I could run track. I ran the 200 and I ran a quarter. I was better at the quarter than I was at the 200. Even I'm probably the shortest one out there running at the time. But I knew what I could do. On the football field, I was a receiver. I could catch, I could run. But that was it. So if I can't do more than that, then, what am I going to do? But I can go over here and run. And not only running, I can run playing soccer. I can run playing baseball. I can do those things so I can utilize a transition. Like you say, they're going to teach me the sport.
Right.
I don't even have to bat. I could go be a designated runner and steal bases. So they're going to teach you the sport. But the problem is we don't expose or allow for that latitude to have people do multiple sports anymore.
Need more of that.
We want that specialization.
What was your time in the quarter?
My time in the quarter, I think the fastest I've ran at one point was a 49.2.
Okay, he was getting out. Okay, see, stats got some wheels. Okay,
Yes.
he more than just a wordsmith. Okay, I love it.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes.
Tay, you got something else you want?
No, I don't have anything else. I actually never ran track. I ran cross country. That was more for endurance, though, for basketball.
I tried that once. I was at Wayne. Hey, you don't know where Wayne is, but I was at Wayne, and because I ran the quarter, they wanted me to be a middle distance runner. I think we left Wayne, and we went up, what's that, Dunkelberg, and we was running. I saw the McDonald's sign in Waynedale, JJ. I was like, where are we? I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this.
That's funny you say that because cross country, I did that one time too. I said, how crazy is this? Cross country is the only sport you run the course as a warm up before you run the race.
Right.
Yeah.
I said that'd be like playing a basketball game before you play the basketball
Yeah.
game.
Right.
I said, man, y'all
But
crazy.
you train sometimes, like you might run 8 miles for training, but the race is only 3 miles.
Oh, no question. And that's what the guys are there. I'm just saying to me, I
Right.
can wrap my head around that psychologically.
I like that, JJ. I was looking at him running, minding my business. And I looked at him, I was like, we at McDonald's.
Yeah. Hey,
And then we had to go up, back around. We couldn't turn around and go. We had to go way back around. I was like, no, this ain't for me.
I'll tell you a funny story. And again, we own multiple sports. I went out because that's what I thought, being my way in cross country. So I'll just be back there chilling, in the back with my regular guys. So then when you hit that, you hit the stadium, I sprint and see how many people I can catch. So my track coach, God rest his soul, I love that man. But, he'd just sit there and kind of have a look on his face. So one day we had some guys, some of our top runners was out. So a couple of second tier guys, they turned around looking, they counting heads. And I heard one of the guys, he said, oh, look like I'm going to get second, And I'm looking around like, we counting out, And I said, who you counting out, man? You counting me out? He said, yeah, you always in the back. I said, oh, so you can beat me. He said, yeah. I mean, now to his credit, I've been back there. He
Right.
don't know what it is, though. So I said, I bet him and his boy wanted a piece of it. I bet the bugs $20 a piece, right? We ran. I ran with them the whole race, right? They used to be dropping back. They look. Hey, we hit that stadium. I patted them on the butt, took off. Was gone, came in, got third. The whole way I'm running, I think I did something. My coach running with me, cussing me out. You could have been doing that.
Man.
But the reality, no, I'm just out here steady shaking.
Right.
I do think back on that and wish I would have,
Right.
to be honest.
You got a cross country scholarship. No.
Yeah, that would be
There's money out there now. But I would encourage people, and even parents with your child.
Yeah.
Even if they're good at football, even if they're great at basketball, find something else that they will be good at. Because, again, there's only so many scholarships now for football, basketball. Right. Your child can go to college, and, if he get that scholarship in track, maybe he can play, try out for the football team. But get him there first.
And here's something we didn't discuss that people that talk about specialization would throw up: the 10,000 hour rule. Everybody familiar with that?
Yeah.
10 years, 10,000 hours.
You become
it
a
guarantees,
proficient,
how much success. Michael
Right.
Jordan did this, that, the other. Which, okay, yeah, I buy it. But again, does track count in that?
Right.
Part of them hours?
Right.
Yeah.
Does it say
Still
it be
training.
sports specific?
Right.
Yeah.
But that is something that, that they would throw up. And that would be my only counter, just like what we talked about. Track is something you running.
Right.
You out there running. Let's count that, your 10,000.
Right.
Yeah. So get the kids involved, get them involved while they're young, try out everything, never know what might fall in their lap. So that's how I feel about all the sports, getting involved. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's all right. Well, hey, great show tonight,
Yes,
folks.
sir.
And, at the end of the day, you always want to do your homework. We done said that several times. But see what is in the best interest of your child.
Right.
And again, don't just listen to, one point of view. Get out, ask people, figure it out, understand if somebody has a motive or not. to steer you into just one. But there is no harm in multiple sports.
Nope.
That's what I would leave you with.
That's true.
And with that, we're going to talk about being a part of the red, the black, and the green. Sissies.
Respect the game on 3. 1, 2, 3, respect the game.